it is called Braving the Wilderness. It's been a long time since I had a need for sparkly kids. Let's give it to Bachelor Nation. We finally got a year of diversity. Hello, and welcome to A Week in My Life. Today is Monday, December 27th. It's simultaneously my favorite week, but also one of the most confusing weeks of the year. The time between Christmas and New Year, some people are working, some people aren't working. It's kind of some people use this week as a reset and others just want to relax. So over here, we are doing a little bit of everything, and some of you may recognize this background. We are actually currently back down south. We decided to travel down for the holidays. And if you're new to Plan with Laur, I'll go ahead and give you a recap while I am making a snack because it's gonna be important to this video. And I just finished working for the day. It is like right at 4 o'clock. So my family lives in South Carolina. John Michael's family lives in North Carolina, and we live in New York City. And at the time that the pandemic hit, John Michael and I were actually living in Boston and moved down to South Carolina with my parents for the better part of 2020 before we went ahead and moved to New York City. Lots of things were up in the air. We were making decisions about where we wanted to take root. During that time, we ended up getting engaged, so a lot changed since we have been down here last time. So what we have been doing here, since we decided to drive our car down south, we spent Christmas with my family and we are gonna go ahead and spend New Year's with John Michael's. So like I said, this is a little bit of a weird week. John Michael does not have to work at all. He is actually out on the golf course right now. Minnie and I went on a walk earlier and we actually saw him while he was playing, so that was fun. We stopped by and said hi. And then I am working just about 4 hours this week, so I'm not doing a full work day, but a lot of the companies that I'm working with and things that I am doing on the back end are still happening and definitely like want to hit the ground running. At the start of 2022, I did take off some time last week, so I am feeling very rested. I want to definitely make sure I'm getting ahead on work because when we start New Year's and kind of that first week in January, we will be over spending time with John Michael's family. I mean, the flexibility of both of us working from home is that we can work from whenever, but sometimes working from home definitely blurs the line of like work boundaries and things like that. And I know that that is a goal for not only myself, but for John Michael here in this upcoming year. And so, you know, we're trying to be proactive about our 2022 goals before 2022 even starts. If you have any good podcast recommendations, I'll actually take them. I've been trying to walk for about 30 to 45 minutes every single day, especially with Minnie. She wants to get energy out. It's a great place for me to clear my head, work on my own mental health, and so need some more recommendations because I'm going through my normal podcast pretty quickly. Since I finished up work for today, I'm feeling good. I definitely still have a couple errands that I want to go ahead and run, a couple things that I have to prep before we go on our trip to North Carolina to see John Michael's parents. And like I said, John Michael and I are having a date night tonight, so also excited to go ahead and spend some intentional time with John Michael. It's been a very Monday-y Monday. Good morning, y'all, and happy Wednesday. I will say I was a bad vlogger. I forgot to pick up the camera yesterday, but we were just running around. There's just so much work to do, errands to run. We had some family in town visiting, so there was just a lot going on. I am out here this morning hanging out on our porch, having my morning coffee. And I've been reflecting a lot lately about how I just have two places that I really love kind of calling home. Now, my parents, like I've said before, retired here to South Carolina. I did not grow up in the South Carolina area. I actually grew up in the Atlanta area. I feel so bad saying this because I know that it is not like this all over, but it is like 68 degrees outside. I can walk out on my back porch. We're here in the sunlight, immediately in nature, and it has been the perfect way to go ahead and start practicing what I would love my new morning routine to be. So I wake up, John Michael makes us coffee, and then I have been coming outside here, sitting down, doing some journaling and some planning, really to start my day. Definitely will admit that I forgot how hard it is to vlog. And it is something I want to do more of in 2022. I like content creation, all of these things. I feel like it's like a muscle that you have to exercise. And the more you exercise it, the better you become at it. But when you stop exercising, it's like you fall behind on it. And that's how I feel like I've been with my vlogging journey so far. And let me know what types of vlogs you want to see in 2022. It's definitely one of my goals that I want to do more of. And I also want to make them like more informational and more educational. So let me know what would be the best for you. Another thing that I'm definitely working on and keeping top of mind here in 2022 are routines. Now, routines I feel like are the thing that we're always struggling with, the things that we're always like wanting to make progress on or create more routines or do all of these things. I bet you already have some routines that you don't even know about. I think sometimes our routines are a little subconscious. So like if you wake up and you brush your teeth and you comb your hair and then you make coffee, that's like a routine that you already have. But I know that typically when we think about routines, it's waking up and working out and solving world peace and doing all of it before your 9 a.m. Zoom call. I definitely know that's not realistic for me, and I would bet that for a lot of you guys it is not realistic at all. Routines is actually what I decided to go ahead and journal about here this morning. Again, we're heading into 2022, and I know the feeling of wanting on January 1st to start big and to start strong and to want to start all of your routines, all of your goals, all of your resolutions all at once. And I hope that this serves as your reminder to actually not do that. Because on the first Monday in 2022, what I don't want you to do is completely go all in, get all excited, and then in 2 and 3 weeks burn out. Because I think what I'm focused on here in 2022 and what I think you should be focused on is consistency. And to get to a point in which you are truly consistent, you kind of need like a ramp up plan, right? Like we have to go from maybe not being consistent at all to ramping up to incorporating these new things before we're actually consistent in these routines that we want to have. Okay, so for this morning, what I did and what I went ahead and did in my journal, and you know, a prompt one may say that I would share with you guys, is I sat down and I wrote out all the routines in an ideal world that I would love to have, right? Like I'd love to have a morning routine and an evening routine and a workout routine and a routine when it comes to different aspects of what I do with my work. Like there are all of these things that I want, right? And so I just did a massive brain dump. I put them all on paper because sometimes like I don't want it to take up that mental space, right? I don't want it to just be sitting here looming over me. So I went ahead, we wrote it down, we put it on paper, we put it out into the world. And then I sat there and I spent some time thinking, okay, but what are my priorities? If I had to go ahead and pick one or maybe two of these routines, what are going to be the ones that I focus on the most? What are going to be the ones that I start out in 2022? Because here's the thing, I can always come back to these routines and add more to my plate, right? Or I can modify them, or I can change them up throughout the year. We're not trying to start every single routine, every single goal, every single resolution. Also, side note, so where my parents live, we live right on the back of a golf course, which you can't see because I'm not facing it. And people are out here playing golf because, you know, it's the morning, everyone's on vacation. And someone literally just hit their ball, almost hit my camera. So I've completely lost my train of thought. That's also partially why I like sitting out here though, because it's really great people watching. One final note here that I have on routines before I'm gonna go get dressed and get ready for this day is that put all your dreams, your hopes, your routine goals out on paper. I think that it is so important to get it out there, to put it out there into the world. But then when you're actually figuring out about what we're going to start here in 2022, start with what's simple. Start with what's going to already be able to easily be incorporated into your life. And then once you start proving to yourself that you can do it and that you can stay consistent with it, either add more to that routine or create a new routine entirely. Okay, we need to go inside now and get ready for the day. Good morning. Oh, hi. Look at us. We are getting ready to start filming. So this is our handy dandy set.
It's a beautiful day. We've got everything set up here. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here so Lauren can film.
I know. We didn't have a Christmas tree up in our New York apartment, so I'm excited to have a Christmas tree in my video, even though it's gonna be like a month later.
That's okay.
Listen, I'll never say never, but the whole like wearing slippers while you work thing to me it's always been my favorite thing from work from home, and now I get to do it all the time. So here are these new slippers I got for Christmas. They are UGG slippers. I love them. They're like house shoes. And while, I'm filming, I look all cute, hair and makeup is done, please know that I'm also wearing my slippers. What a day today has been. So after we chatted this morning about routines, I then actually did go ahead and film 3 videos here for January. We are headed out tomorrow to North Carolina to see John Michael's family. So I did want to do some work because while we're there, I don't want to have to work. I want to feel prepared and feel ahead of everything. When I film, it does just take so much out of me. Just because, I want to make sure I'm saying what I want to say and I'm happy and I'm excited and I'm making the best video possible. So I did take some time to relax a little, and now we are like doing prep. So before you leave, so cleaning up a little bit, packing a little bit. John Michael is giving Minnie a bath right now, and I wanted to just show you all a couple of things. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys some of the books that I bought myself to start out this new year. I'm super excited about them. I was buying a couple books for people for Christmas, and then when you go to the bookstore, then you end up buying things for yourselves. The first book that I got is called Badass Habits. I'm excited for this one because it actually has a 21-day step-by-step guide for success on creating habits, staying with habits. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read it first, read it all, and so understand what I'm supposed to be doing, and then actually go back and do the 21-day challenge that they have a part of it. So excited about that one. The second book that I called is called Obsessed, Building a Brand You Love from Day One. This is definitely more of a business book. It's really more of a B2B business book, but I'm interested to see kind of what insights and things that they have. I got my career started in corporate marketing, so I'm just excited to see their take on it. And then the third book that I got is a book for me. It is from my favorite author, Brene Brown, and it is called Braving the Wilderness. This is all about cultivating belonging in communities. I pretty much love everything that Brene Brown puts out, so I have no doubt that I will love this one. And while we're there, the main thing that will be going on actually is going to be our engagement party. John Michael's best man, his godparents, and a family friend are all throwing it for us, which I'm so excited about. But look at these fun shoes. And everyone who's going will be testing and will be masking, and it will be outside. It's been a long time since I had a need for sparkly kids, and I'm definitely so great to have another need. So these are going to be shoes that I wear for the engagement party, and I think I'm also going to change into these at my actual wedding, for dancing shoes for the reception. Minnie and I are having some quiet time and some morning tea. This is one of my favorite mugs, and it has just a bunch of the first ladies all over the mugs. I actually got this at a shop in New York City in 2018 when I lived there for a little bit. And full circle, now we live there now. Time to hit the road. You ready, John Michael?
Yep, ready to roll.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Let's give it to Bachelor Nation. We finally got a year of diversity. We find a good year of diversity. Can't complain about that. We finally made it to North Carolina. It was about 5.5 hours of driving, and man, are we tired. Today's the 30th, tomorrow's the 31st, tomorrow is New Year's. We're gonna be celebrating it in the New Year. So I wanted to take some time today to go ahead and just look back at everything that this year has been. So on my Instagram story, I went through and I posted a recap of Plan with Laur in the past year. I posted one piece of content that my audience loved the most, and I just used that based off of different metrics and things like that. And then one thing that I meant the most, and I wrote just a little bit of a synopsis of either why I liked the post or something important, or maybe something that you didn't know about it. For example, in the month of March, there is a picture of me holding a book. I have it up here. It's funny because the post itself is about the funk when it comes to goal setting, kind of that weird time where you're I don't know how my goals are going. I don't know if these are still the same goals that I want. But one thing that maybe you might not have known, and you probably wouldn't have known this because I never talked about it, but March was a really hard month for us. It was a month where I started to just really reevaluate my priorities, not only in terms of my goals, but in terms of my life. We were moving out of Boston. I was figuring out my different passions, and I was even starting to reevaluate kind of my place in my job and everything that looked at. And that was also, I think, a really critical time, because for Plan with Laura's, it's always been about planning and planners, and that's something that will always be foundational to my brand. But I wanted to show more. Like, I wanted to do more than plan with me's. I wanted to do more than planner spreads. I wanted to show how we can truly use planning as a tool to help us in our life. So when we came back here, I actually recorded the last episode of Reality and Wine with Megan. If you have no idea, I am a major Bachelor fan. Megan from Planners and Wine and I actually do a Bachelor recap. We don't recap every single week. We recap like every 2 or 3 episodes. It's like a sister podcast. So their podcast is called Planners and Wine. This is Reality and Wine. We were just finishing the recap for Michelle's season, and then we will start Clayton's season here very soon.
Hello, everyone.
One thing that I want to work on here in 2022 is really working on storytelling when it comes to my content, making sure not only that it's inspiring and useful information, but also that the storytelling is there, because I feel really good in the information that I'm saying. I feel like it's concise and it's easy, but I do also just want to weave a more cohesive story without taking more time. So that's something that I'm focusing on. Tomorrow's video, which is the video that I am announcing to everyone that I have quit my corporate job, is kind of my first take at that. So putting the finaling touches on that and making sure it's getting uploaded. We're getting ready for New Year's Eve, so I thought I would get ready and just talk to y'all and just tell you a little bit about how today has been going. You'll see John Michaels in the background. We are doing New Year's so low-key and casual this year. We are gonna go have dinner at John Michaels' parents, and then we are going to make a fire and see how long we last outside. Honestly, if you had to ask me, I would say that we would be back here at our hotel room before the ball actually drops. How do you think I look right now? Should I go out like this?
Trick question.
Today has been an interesting day because, well, not only is it the last day of 2021, but it is also the day that I went ahead and announced to y'all and to across all of my communities that I've gone ahead and I have quit my corporate job. I purposely decided to wait a little bit to decide when I wanted to announce it. This was for a couple of reasons. The biggest one, and I say this to any of like my patrons when we talk about goal setting or we talk about social media or anything like that, and it is advice that I got from my therapist, which is to not share anything that you haven't made peace with. And while becoming my own boss and being self-employed is something that I am so excited about, it definitely wasn't an easy decision. There are lots of risks that are being taken, and I kind of just wanted time to be alone with that, because anytime you share something, whether it be in like a big social media setting like I did, or even like with family members or friends, you are inviting in criticism, or you're inviting in opinions, and some of them are going to be really positive and some of them are not going to be as positive. So I wanted to just feel 100% with my decision, and in classic fashion, because I literally have the absolute best community in the whole entire world. You guys have been so supportive, you have been so sweet, and you have been so encouraging. Partially another reason why I wanted to wait is I wanted to start thinking about what some of my routines were going to look like and going to be when I was self-employed. I kind of underestimated when you work for yourself, like when you don't have to clock in or you don't have to show up for anybody, nobody's like holding you accountable to make you wake up and to tune into your job. I think the thing that will help me set myself up for success in 2022 and beyond in my journey of entrepreneurship is to treat it like a 9-to-5 job. I try and wake up every single day at the same time that I would if I had a 9-to-5 job, do my same morning routine, and then shower and get dressed and go into my office to sit down and actually start my day. I have just found how necessary it is to truly treat this like it was a 9-to-5. And I find that also makes me more reliable to myself. There are certain things that I loved about corporate life. And part of the things that I loved about being in a corporate environment were the routines and were the hierarchy structures, and there were processes that were in place to help you no matter what you needed. And now I'm realizing that if I want to have those same processes, if I want to still have the things that I loved about corporate rides, so those routines, those hierarchies, I have to go ahead and create those. Happy New Year, John Michael.
Happy New Year.
Here we go. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,